We are. I don't think a notification went out because we put a video out late last night. But if you're joining us or you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back. And happy Sunday. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I'm staring down the barrel of a short week. I'm going to be off on Friday. I may be going out of town this weekend. I don't know. An old college friend has a free weekend. It's a 3-day weekend of mine, and I haven't been out of town or seen most of my friends in a very long time. So that's what we decided to do. So it's going to be an interesting adventure to do that, I imagine. And I'll leave Mark here. He won't be going with me. And I'll leave the car with him. So I'll be taking the bus. So I hope everyone's well and safe. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. We'll just hang out here for a minute until a handful of people come. And then we'll get chatting. I believe she's live at the moment. Or she was very recently live. So I don't really know. Brenna, hello. NyQuil, hello. I don't think my notifications went. I don't know if they came out or not. But at least everyone's here. Hey, Susie Q, how are you? Hey, Dom. Dom, 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 doo, dom. Lisa, hello. Hot latte, Sandra. It flies, Sandra. It just flies. My salad needs a better passport. Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. You're catching a live, Edna B. Lurkin? Well, good. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here. So, today we are going to catch up with our fair lady, Shantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Shantal, Shantopolis, The Shantal Show, Shantal and Salah, Miriam something or other, and Foodie Beauty again. One of the things she hasn't actually done recently, it just occurred to me, is change her name. She goes through periods where the channel name changes a whole lot, back and forth. Usually when she's stoned. So maybe in Thailand she gave herself a little motivation to maybe come up with a new one, but she hasn't yet. It's still been Foodie Beauty. So we weren't here last week. I was not available, but thank you for your patience and for hanging around with us and for being here tonight. I took quite a few notes, but that doesn't mean I have to talk nonstop either. So every day, Miriam, excuse me, Brenna. So one to touch in, she landed. So we're just going to go back maybe like 5 days or so. She's back in Kuwait, landed from Thailand. Very exciting. Where in hell is Salah? Still continues to be a question. A new start coming back into Kuwait. Weight and health, and some things that she has on her mind as far as what she's going to do. Salah didn't take care of the pets. Now, she would say something kind of different to bury it, but the assessment is Salah didn't take care of the pets while she was gone. And that she knew it at the time when she got back, she could tell. Her travel blog. So after a couple days back, we get footage of her coming back from Thailand and then landing there. So she gives us a little bit of what she considers to be a travel blog. So, which isn't really, but she had a healthy food haul. She went out and bought groceries and showed them off in another live. As usual, no junk food for her, just for Salah. So all that crap food's for Salah. It's a total, we know. I mean, she might as well, it's a waste of food. I mean, if your food's 3 days from going bad, why don't you do the charitable thing and maybe see if you can pass it on to someone who's a needier person? Knock on a neighbor's door, make a friend, something. Anyway, let's see. All her bad choices are based on her husband. So we went through a video where we were talking about how Salah had the reins. And everything was his fault. He does the picking of the food. He didn't finish doing the gym, all that kind of stuff. Salah had a birthday come and go, and you'd never know. You'd never know. So, that's where things are. And then she, again, is, I think, live today or just earlier today. So starting with Foodie Beauty returns. She's back. She's back. Guess who's back? Check out the gym he's been building. It's in the works. As of this time, when she was sharing this, it was in the works as far as anybody knew. She's going to have to wait. Salah's not home. He might be at the bathhouse. And when she arrived home, she mentioned that Julia, the kitty, looked matted and that the hamster cage didn't look like it had been cleaned very well. And to Chantal's defense, she said she can't clean it well either. That was the defense. Oh, there's a part I can't even reach. So neither of you can take care of the pet. Thanks for putting it out there. And that Julia went immediately to the groomers because she probably looked mad. She left the cats with Pete's and they needed stuff afterwards. She left them with him. And no one could love them like me. That's barely love either. I mean, they're more like props. Her original pets she had for 20 years. I'll believe she had some heart in there for pets. But not for the ones that she's using for props and then leaving behind for not long periods of time. And if Salah can't take care of a cat, then you can't leave Salah with the cat and feel good that it's being done. Husband or not, if he's not going to take care of the animals that are your animals. So, Lemon Crush, thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat. Her animals, she takes care of her way. So apparently cleaning out animal shit and keeping it like away from them isn't something he was super comfortable with or aware of, I guess. So, thank God he doesn't babysit. It's just as well. Julia not being spayed and hair being matted, I think it's just as well that maybe Shantal doesn't have children. Has anyone heard of Munchausen syndrome by proxy? If you know, you know. That she would take advantage of hurting other people to get attention for herself. So, board it with someone you know, hot latte. That's exactly, I had my parents help it when we were displaced unexpectedly. My parents bit the bullet, which was nice because they don't have pets, and took Oscar and Bandit in. And they don't own cats, but we gave them the breakdown. Here's the boxes, here's the food, here's how they might act, here's what it's like if they're mad, here's what it's like if they're playing. If you hear any noises, just scream, just to how, just like that. So, she talked about coming back on the plane and how the gentleman next to her was hoarding in on her food tray. I'm assuming that means she had the extra tray next to her because she got the extra seat. If she had actually bought it, she would have brought that up. She didn't. So, she gets back, shares that stuff, and then she shows off this Temu haul. Remember the big Temu haul that was going to be happening? Big, big, big business. She gets back, she tries the clothes on. They're okay. I mean, they're poorly fitting. They're not very good looking as far as color. They don't look good on her. She tries to bury the fact that she can't fit into pretty clothes by the fact that she needs to be modest. I'm sure there's fashion that happens somewhere that is a combination of modest and stylish. You don't have to take a freaking tablecloth and wrap it around your neck and go outside. I'm going to guess that the 400-pound woman isn't too concerned about what some other people think. That would be it if you just go by the fact that there's a 400-pound woman on camera. But that's also her day-to-day life, too. Her ins and outs, her exercising, her going out for walks, her cooking, and all the things that count as exercise because they're not sitting. Cleaning counts as exercise because it's not sitting. Vacuuming the stairs because you're not sitting, so obviously you're working out. Getting up on the couch, jumping up and down, alleging weight loss. How's the sciatica? Isn't it just awful? That rampant excitement, too, makes me think the anxiety's running a little lower. I think she got what she wanted out of her trip. She got to bees. She got to have her gummies. She got time away from him. I don't care what she says about being dependent on him. She can only take him in small doses, too, I'm sure, because he gets sick of her fast, so he's probably not nice to her. That's, kind of my thought about that. So let's see. Modest. She shits herself on camera. Modest clothing does nothing. It's like putting lipstick on a thing. So, where is Salah? Where is my Salah? Well, Salah, before she left for Thailand, had been a little bit absent. Right after the whole fecophilia thing, or the philia. Yeah, philias you like it, phobias you hate it. Came out, he's been a little more low-key. And who among us wouldn't be? If you have certain fetishes, I'm not going to kink shame you, which how Shantal defends that, and cultural differences and kink shaming. Okay. There's kinks. I think anybody with a brain would recognize that the behavior that he liked is kind of on the far end of the spectrum. It's more of a niche kind of thing that isn't for everybody, but whatever. But it doesn't seem to matter to her at this point. Erica, hello. Nicole, hello. Because he's not around. He's nowhere to be found. She's leaving multiples of calls. She's probably not going to be sure that, he's going to pick her up at the airport. So she made her way back eventually. But Salah is always either busy, sleeping, working, gaming. What else? Working on the gym, playing video games, playing the piano, and sniffing Chantal's used underwear. So he has some other hobbies and things, but all of these things have him doing it off camera. And Chantal is, she must be embarrassed by the fact that the only things she can say are that. You know, where is he? Is he out buying you a gift? Is he out doing the shopping so pretty princess can put her feet up and enjoy her pretty privilege? Or did he come over, get you groceries, you got some produce to try to make him think that you care, and then while he lingered around, you broke into the food. She broke into the food before the food haul was done. Anyway, so Salah's not around. She did say at one point he's with another wife, kids, whatever. Kind of, she's just trolled. Everything is trolling anyway anymore. So you can't trust the titles, you can't trust the thumbnails or the language that's on it about her being under control and then her being out of control and needing it. And how she put all that together was a little bit different for me. I don't know. Sure that wasn't a catfish? Calda, hello. So now that we're back in Kuwait, and Salah's wherever he is, it's going to be a new start. Big new start. New diet, of course, because we're going to grease our way into a health arc at this point. But everyone should know by now. She just had a long flight. She needs to sleep for 15 hours. Okay, you need to get your sleep back on track if you've traveled across a bunch of time zones. That makes sense. That's normal. But Shantal doesn't have a regular sleep schedule. So what the hell does it matter? You know, she'll get up at 4 in the afternoon. She'll stay up until 3 in the morning. That's kind of like how she said she's had 3 meals a day. I'm like, well, if she has no schedule, and I'm not saying she has to have a schedule. I mean, there's plenty of people that don't. But, I mean, if she has no get up, eat, do this stuff for a while, eat, do more stuff for a while, eat, snack, bed, and then fill in the rest of it with your life, not sit between meal and play on your phone trying to distract yourself from thinking about all the dark chocolate that you're not going to tell people you ate. I know, I've been fat. I know how it goes. And when you're fat and you think you're slick, it's like spotting a toupee. Everybody can tell but her. So, besides the new start in Kuwait and the health arc, she's going to be recovering from traveling, of course. Salah wants to keep their relationship pretty much offline, and somehow that's going to include the gym that he was building. But he couldn't pick the cat up. He couldn't clean a hamster cage, but he could assemble a gym. Have you ever tried to assemble something like a treadmill? I don't trust that man to work a Ziploc bag. I don't think he's going to be able to build a treadmill. IKEA would be the death of him. So I don't think he's going to be doing that. Now, there is something to be said for couples spending time apart. Now, they were 30 days? They were like a month apart. And it's not like she stayed home and he went out. She went away and he got to stay on his stomping ground and do what he wanted to do for 30 days. I imagine she justified the gummies to herself by saying, I'm sure Salah's doing something, because she assumes everyone's as dishonest as her. So I'm sure Salah did something, so I can do this, and if I find out anything, and then I can throw it back in his face. You always need ammunition, even against your kept man. Little something to keep him in line, I guess. So, couples part of time is good. Marc will go out most nights during summer, spend 2 hours out in the garden. I adore Marc. I would happily spend 2 hours with him, but he likes it, and he is in a better mood when he comes back in. And we have a garden to show for it. In the meantime, I have much more boring interests, I have to say. So I'm not usually outside doing much of them. I have different niche interests that I like, and I'll look up on YouTube and stuff. Nothing like our friend Salah. But in that vein, I like my infomercials. I like looking for reviews of types of things like that. So that's when I kind of get to play online while he's out there, because I don't want to make him watch shit that he doesn't like. So he bounces for that. And then we reconvene and we see each other at night and we watch a show. And, you know, occasionally one of us has to go to bed early. Like tonight I do. I have to get up tomorrow at 6, be 2 hours away by 8 or so, to do some teaching. So in time like that, I'd go to bed early and Marc would stay up late and eat, and we would just catch each other in passing wherever. So did you get any cabbages this year? No, Christine, we had no cabbages. They were eaten by slugs, I believe. So if Julia was rushed to the groomer, then how new of a start are we having here? How long was he there? How often was he there to look after these animals? Like I said, just because you left them with your husband, that doesn't mean you picked a responsible husband. that doesn't mean you pick someone who knows how to do this. So I can't leave my cats with my 3-year-old nephew because he's 3 years old and doesn't know how to do it. No matter how much I trust him, no matter how much he's family, he's incapable of doing what I need him to do. And so trusting him with that is just like having no one go there at all. And personal feeling. So, personal feeling. Side note, Mom and I were talking, the parents came today, and Mom said if you're feeling sort of lonely or anxious, if you take your hand and push it into your sternum, it creates the sensations in your brain and body that you're being hugged, and it will increase whatever it is, oxytocin, cortisol, all that shit, and you'll feel better afterwards, or you'll feel more calm afterwards. So fun fact from Steve's mom, just so you know. The background will be with us for Spooky Steve and Marc. So, now weight and health. How could we have a Shantal video without mentioning weight and health, calories, numbers, that kind of thing? So, as I said, she needs 15 hours of sleep to recoup from traveling. Now, yeah, you need to recoup from traveling. Whatever your, like I started to say, whatever your sleep schedule is, you need to get back into it. She doesn't have one to start with, so there's really nothing to go back into. See, Nicole, 4:40, everyone's always got it a little earlier, till you get to the graveyarders, God love them. So, 15 hours of sleep after traveling, and then the preparation for the healthcare arc. Salah is motivating her, which is why she said in Thailand she couldn't do anything, because Salah wasn't there to motivate her. Okay. She said that now that she's back, she needs to be having some real food, healthy food. That all that stuff from 7-Eleven was garbage, and it was just a chance for her to indulge in her flaws, and she feels readier than ever to get back and be the modest wife that she is. Everyone knows it's a lie but her. It's like, sometimes she goes through the motions and you can tell she's trolling. You can tell she's like, I know this is bullshit, and you all know this is bullshit, but you can't prove it's bullshit. You don't know my heart. Only Allah knows my heart. Therefore, you can't judge. Of course I can. I don't have to be Muslim to see that Muslim people generally act this way, and this woman who looks like a Muslim in dress is acting differently. I'm guessing she wasn't raised Muslim. She's powder white. So I don't think that necessarily, and Western and big, whatever. So she's going to be going into really eating her healthy food. And of course, this will come up with a change in diet, in shape, in size. And she's saying that she's lost weight. She weighed in the street in Thailand for whatever. And didn't really show good results. And then she said she can't pin down Salah to take a picture of her, which she promised, of course, because it got her out of a hot moment. Salah will take a picture of me on the scale. We still didn't get it. He's too busy. Salah can't scrape together 30 seconds for something that is important to her. It's work, I guess, if you want to call it that. So, I don't know. The Temu haul, she tries on the clothes and nothing fits. So she had put off, actually, in the live where she got all the stuff and unboxed it. She showed it all. Then we had the try-on haul. And these things weren't ideally fitting for her. Mind you, we're all also competing with filters, perspectives. You can kind of tell, don't look at Shantal, look at the background, look next to her, and you can kind of gauge if there's a filter going or if there's not. So she's going to go back to 3 solid meals and a snack. Well, 3 solid meals and a snack. Okay. The last thing I'll say about the clothing, because look, she's big. She's 400 pounds. It's hard to find good stuff. Except the skater dress with the jet black hair and the go-go boots. It was wonderful. Perfect. I still liked it. She looked great. As good as she could look, she looked in that outfit. And then she started doing other things. And all of a sudden, the makeup gets more severe. Her looks get more drawn. And she starts to look like, your regular garden variety snowblower. Which was one of the only things that took the weight off of her also. Well, it was hard to tell if it was the Coke or the Ozempic. But who really knows, So when she lands back for her travel vlog, we get to see pretty much B-roll. She held her phone up to the window. We're flying out of Bangkok, and her sitting in the airport sweating, and all her moves to come back. It was very, very little. And then coming back showed some other things that she had done. Talked about the traveling she had did. She didn't get Salah anything. She didn't get the cat sitter anything. She didn't, nothing. Nothing with her. Just me. That's her big gift coming back home to him. Hi, honey, it's just me. Where's the cat? How's the hamster? I'm gonna suggest, I don't know, that she probably, when she got back from to Kuwait, had to catch a ride or an Uber or something because he's very busy. He's very, very busy. Busy man. So even a good travel vlog is hard to make popular and get competitive. There's people out there making real travel vlogs that are doing the work. They have the right camera, they have the right sound, they have the right everything. They have it all together. And still, when you make one that's pretty high quality, it's still competitive because there's so many other people that make high quality ones. If you're going to fart out something that, just anything to pick up enough to cover lunch, then what's the, if you don't care, why should we? You didn't see anything there anyway. You went and sat in a hotel room for a month. People would be jealous of a trip to Thailand. People would not be jealous of her trip to Thailand because she seems to get off on doing nothing and saying, ha ha, you'd be enjoying yourself if you were here, but not. It's me instead. Jealous? All that food she said she hated, the bed she didn't get out of, the staff knocking on the door to come in and clean because she lives like a monster in that place, I'm sure. Do we all remember, this isn't recent, Shantal's always been sloppy, the garbage bags froze into her deck off her bedroom at the villa because she went out, put them there because they wouldn't smell inside, and then didn't take them out all winter. Oh, nothing. Nothing. So, okay. We hear some stories about Salah from her, and her bad health and anxiety is really what's doing it to her right now. I gotta watch my names. I don't want to call people anything that's too unkind. I thought Monster would be good. Nobody got a notification. We put out a video late last night, and there was nobody here until I started the video. And it was waiting, pending for a while. So, yeah, we didn't get notifications go out for whatever reason. So thank you all for finding your way here if you weren't poked and told to come. Surprised her balcony in Thailand was where she stored her trash this time. She just wants to get it away from her. Unless it's KFC. She might want it later, so put it in the drawer. She's a giant child. She is a giant child. And not a fun, nice child. A precocious child. One of those little manipulative kids who are like 6, but they already know how to play mom off of dad. That's what it reminds me of. Surprised the balcony didn't come off. Some things are made, and it's made, I'm sure it's made for 2 people, which is, her. So, when she was with men, I'm trying to figure out what is she, like, to what end is she going after Salah? And I looked at the other guys, like Pete's, like Nader. For as much as she talks about being adored and pursued, she's provided transportation for all of them, pretty much, except Salah. Now, the other ones were nice and safe. You don't know where they are. They're home. And the only person they leave with is you. So you get to feel safe about that. So Pete's was always kind of a sad sack. And she could turn around tomorrow and say, Pete's, I was wrong all along. It was you that I wanted. And he'd go, okay, let's go to the comic book store. And that would be it. He would turn toe and absolutely right in the moment take her back. I don't want to say Pete's is too good for her. He's too nice for her. She would take advantage of him. She has. We've heard her share examples about how she's taken money out of his hand, how she's used his credit cards. Do you think, Shantal talks about being generous, do you think if Pete said, hey, can I have your credit card? I gotta do some stuff. She'd be like, absolutely, go ahead, take it. What's her money is her money, but what his money was her money too. Especially when they were living at the villa. He got his own channel. It started going good in the beginning. People were sending super chats to tell him where she shits and all kinds of stuff. So he did well in the first few months, and he was getting his check coming in, and Pete's had it on mind that he wanted to get a new computer after he got his first payroll check. And Shantal decided that rent money is more important. Mind you, she's probably been paying the rent the entire time, but shorted herself, so she needs to take his money away from that. Because it doesn't matter what you want, rent's more important. So she calls the shots. She calls the shots, and she's no kind of mother to the boys that she's been trying to raise, and she transports all of them everywhere. So Nader was easy to track, pretty much. Salah's easy to track. She would send him out walking with a tracking device, essentially. So didn't Pete's about having to give her money to the cats to the vet? Yeah. Pete's is, like, the best kept secret, because Pete's is too nice to lie. He's not quick enough to remember her lie. And then when he tries to repeat it, he gets parts wrong and he mixes it up with the truth. By accident, I'm sure. So, Oh, Pete's. But he was dependent on her. Natter was dependent on her. All these people who were stalking her, it's like the Natter stuff. And if you, okay, let's look at it on the surface. He was bothering me. You drove to his house every single time. Who sent the first text? Every single time. Which means, left alone, that situation probably would have been okay. They treated each other poorly. You know, I don't know what else to say about that. Using the DV kind of assessment doesn't really sit with me too well, because I feel like it's performative, sort of. I think she took advantage of the fact that people thought that he was kind of mean and turned it into, he is mean. He is. And then we had suckers like me going into her chat, joining, sending her $5, saying hang in there. Because even someone like Shantal, I wouldn't want to see in a bad spot like that, because it is a bad spot to be in. But when it's a lie or an exaggeration and you accept a ton of pity for it, you know, I mean, a lie's a lie. What's the difference between her coming out and saying, "Oh, my cousin died," cousin we never met that she never mentioned died, and she's crying. You feel like in the moment it'll take balls to say, "I think you're full of shit. I don't think you're telling the truth right now." So, Charlie's mom, that open. Rampage, hello, hello. Taking a peek up here. These are readers, so we're doing whatever we can with this. All right, so there goes that. Oh, and Salah and the pets. The idea that Salah didn't take care of any of the pets. A community post came up defending Salah in this way. And again, with her saying they were her pets, which means he's not responsible for what happens to them. Fine, then it's your fault. Well, he was here, so she'll ping pong blame between the two of them. And even if it is her hamster, you can't leave it with him. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Lies and wants sympathy. Let's go to rule number 1. Rule number 1 of Girl World. Shantal lies. She lies. And it's as hard to track as changing her mind. Thing is, though, I think with her changing her mind, the way she kind of frames that is, I didn't lie, I changed my mind. And she seems appalled at the idea that somebody would suggest that in a premeditated sort of way, she calculated when she was going to change her mind from what to what, so it would be most advantage to her. She leaves that part out. She sounds like she wants to be played off as just flighty and whimsical. And like, no, these are calculated things that are going on. And why do you feel the need to calculate stories for your partner and your audience and your family and your country and your lawyers and your cats? You know, you're not a bad person, but you're letting everybody down. That was the most unhelpful thing to say. I am so sorry. You try harder, please. I hope Pizza's been better since she left. I hope so too. Because it was kind of quick arrangements. She kind of just got her shit and got out. Left everything there. I'm sure she left it all there because she told herself she's going to Kuwait. So she has no reason to come back, so just leave a mess. We had these stuck-up Ivy League brats staying on the 3rd floor of our building. They went to the University of Scranton. It's just down the street. And that's not Ivy League. It's Jesuit. It's like a step below. Think like St. Joe's maybe or something like that. So they had a party like the first night they were here and the cops came. Well, they did their school year and they left a bunch of garbage in front, and that was it, that they left. They didn't clean it up, no security deposit concerns because mommy daddy money is probably going to pay for it. I met more people putting their way through college by working at Temple than I did in Scranton because it was a private school. A lot of people were wealthy. So it was a different kind of vibe. But their students were snobs and they made a mess and then just left. They had a dog too that they would just lock in the bathroom and let bark and scream all night. Sheesh. 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 So it goes. So it goes. Vape break. We're about the halfway mark. Is everybody having a good time tonight? So bizarre. And I was keeping up. I also will have a 3-minute commercial about me explaining some stuff about the week. It was a long week. We tried to put out content. We were getting out some shorts. We weren't as available. And we weren't as available to make as much content this week. So I'm glad that we were able to get in today. Mark will be here probably in a day or 2. We got our spooky stuff started, which is where a lot of the energy went. And life has been a little bit, not bad. Busy, but not bad. And so sometimes trading off between one and the other, you know, it's hard because it feels like you're choosing not to make a video, well, whatever, but you're choosing not to hang out and talk to your friends at the same way. regular, there's a special kind of friendship, different from face to face, different from texting buddies, different from OnlyFans, that you make with people when you're a creator and you have a chat. And some of you have channels, and you would know, and others of you can easily imagine. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm glad we have a channel. Oh, also, I came in on the Creator Studio. Starting October 16th, 15th, they're going to have a new kind of short. It's going to be up to 3 minutes long. So, starting then. So you have your regular shorts, which pay you about 1/100 of a cent per view. And then, I don't know. I don't know. So, and before we get back in, thoughts and prayers for Florida, and it looks like it's going to be hard again, and North Carolina, and Georgia, and everyone who usually doesn't get hurricanes. Just saying. We had one hurricane that flooded out the Poconos up here, and it wasn't nearly as bad as what you were looking at if you saw the news and looked at North Carolina. But Hurricane Agnes in the 70s, the Susquehanna River overflowed, all past the flood walls and everything, so it can happen far inland if the storm gets stuck. But these storms are staying so strong as they go inland. I'm not saying why. Follow my eyes. But for whatever reason, the weather is maybe a little more volatile. And so it might have people, who's going to think in North Carolina, 400 miles from the beach, that you're going to need hurricane insurance, flood insurance. Yeah. So, all right, enough rambling about the news. And again, thoughts and prayers for people that are having an unexpectedly hard time right now. So the healthy food haul. So she's cooking some slop on the stove during this live. I think it's supposed to be curry. Who the hell knows? It looks like something Salah would be interested in. Cooking slop. She has her old glasses back. The ones that Salah got her. I don't know. I'm not into fashion. I'm not into a lot of stuff. Every once in a while I trip onto a piece of clothing that looks good on me and that I like. I don't get the impression with her it's probably the same thing. But her glasses that he bought her, according to her, it looks like she went to like CVS or similar and got them and then wears them. It's just another indication that some other part of her body isn't working as well as it probably should. She doesn't have the maturity to wear contact lenses. Because teenagers often aren't enough. They don't clean them enough. They fall asleep with their contacts in. I'm sure that's the kind of situation she'd have. She'd have pink eye, and she'd blame it on the cat. Oh no, it couldn't be the complete lack of care for something I'm solely responsible for. No, couldn't be. So, the grocery haul, the plan is that we're gonna cook 5 nights a week, and I guess eat in or eat out for 2 of them. So, that's where the grocery haul is going. Now, this grocery haul is very typical of Shantal's. There's no junk food for her, but it's there for Salah. She gets prepared foods, cheese, butter, all her usual stuff. She needs to have food from every food group, according to her, to feel full. Her tactics for feeling full need to be re-examined. That's the fucking point. That she doesn't know how to feed herself in a way that's healthy and safe. And she's not alone. Hear her. The difference is I think the rest of us are kind of willing to admit our problems with it and at least try to do something. It's one thing to try and fail. It's another to not try. Or to fake trying to be able to say, hey, I put the work in. That's the most lazy, entitled kind of brush off that I don't know. Elizabeth, I really believe he told her to lose weight or it's over. It's possible. And if she does have a drastic crash in weight, which she's alleging that she lost 20 pounds or whatever in traveling, she probably put it back within a couple days. 11 pounds of cheese? Exactly. I don't think he's sitting around with a block of cheese eating it like a hand fruit. Like, good, babe. It's all for her. And I think she overeats because she overeats anyway. But I think in this situation, she's home alone all day. She's bored. And so she doesn't let her mind wander about what he's doing, where is he going, where has he been, if she cares. She's keeping herself tick-tock, one thought past the next. She can't think faster than 30 seconds at a time. She just, keeps it going. So we have seen this cycle times before. The spin on the ball is that she's in the relationship when it's happening. Like, I don't remember her asking Pete's to hold her accountable for her eating, really. And Natter, she didn't seem to bring it up. She lost some weight and seemed to put it like he didn't really care about the size of her. He either liked him big or he didn't care if they're big, one or the other. He also liked them rich and gullible. And where there's a foolish will, there's a foolish way. Shantal is not a millionaire, but she has enough money to spoil someone as long as she shorts out some other cost in her life. So she gets all her dairy, she gets pita bread, and then she gets this healthy multigrain stuff. And that's for her, and the pita is for Salah. Within minutes, she rips open the pita, takes a piece, and tries out the pimento cheese dip that they got. I know, I get wanting the comforts of home. And I could honestly see going to a McDonald's in Kuwait City because I haven't had it in years and it reminds me, for me, McDonald's is like little kid comfort food. I think of Happy Meals, I think of dangling my feet off the seat, I think of the ballroom at McDonald's. You know, I have fond memories there. But, you know, not so much that I would get it a few days a week or that I would like eat. Like, what a disservice. Would Shantal... maybe ask her. She's never watched. She watches everybody but us, probably. But would you watch a vlog like yours? Would you watch someone sit around all day and defend doing nothing? And then eat and complain and show nothing? Go out twice and act like it's a hero type of thing. So, the double dipping on... Yeah, she's disgusting. When it comes to eating. She always says it's for me and Salah, but like when you know she gets takeout and like half of this is for Salah. First of all, the extra sandwich was his and that's gone. And that won't be the last time that kind of thing happens either, I'm sure. So the stuff she gets pretty much aside from the produce, and I mean we're talking about probably 6 pounds of sweet potatoes, a case of persimmons, or no, pomegranates, excuse me. And some other healthy stuff. She's gonna gnaw on some lettuce and green bananas when she's hungry. Who the fuck does she think she's fooling with any of that stuff? I'm not eating green bananas when I'm hungry. I don't think most people are. Just saying. So there's all that stuff that she puts out with the produce and what I'm gonna do this and that, and then there's all the other food. Well, what's the stuff that always gets thrown out? The produce. She might as well just buy compost, you know, just bring it all home, throw it all in a bin, and just leave it there. Because if you're not going to eat it, it's just for show. A lot of people buy food to feel better about themselves at the supermarket. Okay, I can't say you, but I can say me. If I go through and I see there's just desserts and junk, if I'm there with Mark, I'm like, maybe I should get an avocado. Maybe I should get a grapefruit. Somewhere in my head it balances out purchasing unhealthy food. Yes, Kelga, the years that she had Hello Fresh. It would come, she'd forget, she'd throw it out. It would sit in the fridge, it would rot, she'd throw it out. And there were people who were tailing HelloFresh and doing pretty well making those videos, selling their link with the video, and then you start to get a kickback from it. So when we used to do our every plate videos, it was like the discount food box thing. For every time somebody purchased one, we would get a small amount of money back for that, and it would keep piling up. And there's some people that made that a really good hustle, but she's too undisciplined and lazy to schedule anything at all. She's late and nasty to the things that she loves and likes, so I don't think she would be extra cute to new adventures, new things to try. So junk's all for Salah. She can't wait to eat Salah's cheese spread. It's all crap. It's okay to have a couple of pieces of dark chocolate a day. So she's got these 2 dark chocolate bars. I don't know how dark, but they're dark. And she's deciding she's going to eat 1 or 2 squares a day, and that should satiate her craving for chocolate. Now, she didn't even like sweets to ask her. You know, the only reason she has such a big dinner is because she always skips dessert. Right? Or similar. So she's been trying it her way for years. So we've seen hauls like this since the HelloFresh days, since back in the villa, if not even going earlier, where she would overbuy things that she doesn't need and throw them out later. And people would say, well, did you spend like, you know, I mean, dark. I like 85% dark. I can't eat unsweetened chocolate. I don't care if it's healthy or not. It's gross. But, you know, I will go for the dark. But I don't keep chocolate around as a nutritional supplement. Maybe I should. But if I'm anyone like Shantal, it's not a good idea, because I'll lose sight of what it was for and eat them all in 1 minute. All of them. just in one shot. And then when Salah comes home and asks for where the candy bars are for him and his friends when they have guests who are gaming, and all of a sudden she's sitting there with empty wrappers from one end of the villa to the other. I don't know what happened. I just got hungry. I got anxious. You weren't here. If you were here, you could have stopped me. That goes into, I think, the next section that we have, which is all her bad choices are based on her husband. So, Salah does picking up some of the food. He wasn't finished with the gym when she got back. He isn't there at the moment. The chat is also responsible for monitoring her diet, as she requested. So, coming back, how do I want to put this? How do I want to put this diplomatically? Because it's really easy to be mean to Shantal. I mean, y'all know. And it's funny a lot of the time, too. But I try to keep it to a minimum, to a funny minimum, but to a minimum. But asking the chat for accountability is something else she does, too. I need you guys to call me out. I need you guys to tell me this, that. I need you guys to remind me how much I'm this or that. How old are you? It's not their job. It's not your husband's job. It's your job. Pull up your bra strap and just get to work. You know, no, it's not easy, of course. No, I don't live your life. No, I don't this. No, I don't that. But, whatever. So everyone else is fucking it up for her, apparently, asks for accountability, and then calls it bullying if you don't kiss her ass, and congratulate her on every small victory. Small victories count. But in the face of other huge losses and failures, they're not going to make up for it. You know, having a salad for dinner with some lean chicken meat and then not eating for the rest of the night is great, but you're not going to be 160 pounds tomorrow from doing it once. Shantal could lose 100 pounds a year, 2 years in a row, and still be overweight. Yeah, the feet looked scary, Butterfly. I thought maybe there was a little something not so good going on there. Not so much. And again, so is Salah. According to her, Salah was pretty supportive, but I think he gave up even going through the motions. You know, he went with her to the pool. He had suggested going out. She constantly said that he pushes her. I don't think he cares that much, but to the extent that he says anything, it's probably work out. You know, if you can only squeeze out a few words. But they went to the pool. He had talked to her about not keeping sweets in the house because she would eat them all, and then they did, and she ate them all. I don't know. And I think he's just stopped pretending to care because she's just going to do what she wants anyway. And I think after a couple years of proof of that, he understands. No matter what she promises in the grocery store about going on to a new leaf, all this new fruit, new promises. New arc means new produce. That's pretty much it. And usually she's gone off the diet before the produce even rots. You know. So it goes for her. She's up to 500. Now, people were guessing at the weight. I'm going to say 400-ish. I'm still trying to keep... Now, the filters were obvious in some of the places this week. She had a lot of angles that I saw where you could tell she wasn't in... It looked like you cut her out and, like, click and dragged her into another background that it didn't look like she was supposed to be in. So, when it fails, it'll be his fault. Yeah, because if it's not her responsibility, it's not her fault when it goes bad. Everyone did her wrong. Everyone's doing her wrong. How is she such a good... She was 400 in Canada. She gained so much when she was there. And it's not even the gaining the weight. Like, a 300-pound person shouldn't be that immobile every day. There's plenty of 300-pound people that hold jobs, like day jobs, go to work, come home, feed children, groom pets, make themselves some sweet potatoes, and go home and just live their life, you know. And again, Shantal, having nothing to do during the day, just eats and eats and eats to keep herself company. Eating and TikTok. Before I can feel anything, let me eat something. Before I'm not full anymore, let me go watch something on TikTok just to keep her mind occupied from all the shit that everyone reminds her she's ignoring, I think. People try to remind her that she has responsibilities and they're curious how they went, and she insists, if you're asking about a situation, that you're being nosy. Even if she brought it up. No one read your diary, Shantal. You told everybody your business. And then they still talk about it. And she's, well, I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. You brought it up. Sorry. I look huge at 155. I'm only 5 feet tall. 5 foot. It's when you're a short person, either a man or a woman, you can't hide 5 pounds anywhere, usually, too. Her scale in Canada was 70 pounds off. Remember when Pete's got on the scale when he was 70 pounds lighter? She was saying this time it couldn't be rigged. There was no tear on it. I couldn't tear the scale. I obviously couldn't be lying. Why? Why couldn't you be lying? Putting your weight on something next to you and standing up, and Salah's too busy with the fragrance industry to come in and take a fucking 30-second video. He loves you so much. So much. It's to the point where he's going to get over the money and the lifestyle, too. It's not going to be worth it after a while. You can't throw an endless amount of horse shit at someone, and, well, maybe him, and expect them to just take it and take it and take it. You know, what does she have that he wants that for 2 years she's been able to keep him in line with? And she understands he's probably not very bright, which is probably why she picked him. But so goes. So goes. Abbycat, hello. Yeah, Beats just happened to be 70 pounds lighter twice. So the only time I remember her looking thinner was she was doing Ozempic and at the same time. And I would argue that the cocaine was probably a little more fast-working and potent than the Ozempic, but she was doing both. And there's people who lose... She was talking about like she lost all this weight in 3 months from the Ozempic alone, and that's not accurate. But she was more active, probably being stimulated by things that stimulate people, and maybe got moving a little bit more, and she was at least out traveling and doing stuff. I mean, she was only driving from Ottawa down to Montreal, but at least she was out of the house. You know, she had to at least walk to the car. Anymore now, she can't do anything. The money has never been worth having to deal with her daily, let alone living with her. I'd rather be poor. You know what? And not even to take it that far, I think a lot of people would rather be poor than live so uncomfortably in a situation like that. You know, especially if you thought something, you know, was going well and then you find out it's not, but you stay on principle. Oh, I'm looking adorable today. Thank you very much. Mark's doing well. He had a couple rough nights' sleep. His joints have been hurting again, and he's a little swollen. But he's documented it and sent it to the doctors, and then following up with one this week. So he's in the game. He's still here. So yeah. So it's his fault. Incidentally, as long as we're talking about this woman, Salah had a birthday, and guess how she treated him? She put on lipstick. That was about it. She said he didn't want to make it a really big deal. Of course he didn't. No cake, nothing. He didn't want to have a cake because it would tempt her. Of all the times that you could probably break down and have a little piece of a sweet, it's a birthday. Having a piece of birthday cake on Salah's birthday is not the reason she's 400 pounds. Having the entire cake on Salah's birthday is what adds to it and adds to it. He's talking to the Beezers in emails. She's not going to be happy. She loses her angle. I mean, if she could seduce him, any woman could. So it's not surprising that somebody else would come out of the woodwork and say, hey, I was talking to him, and he was emailing me, and here's what they said. And they're probably trolling her and trying to set him up, but she needs that for content anyway. She needs bad stuff to happen so people will watch. So nothing is sadder than no cake on your birthday. Yes, Edna? How sad. Like, he didn't want one. He didn't want cake. Did you get him anything? You were gone for a month. You haven't seen him in forever. On his birthday. Where is he? I didn't get him anything. And then she was like giggling about it like, it's a cultural difference. It's not a cultural difference. Necessarily. To think of someone and acknowledge them on their birthday is not a big deal. She seemed pissed about the no cake. She seemed generally pissed about his birthday because it wasn't hers. If it's not about her, she's not interested. And she's going to make it about her, so God help me. So he must be interested in the other 10% that are not pretty. Yeah. Pretty privilege. So he got dick for his birthday. She got her husband nothing. We're going to have no more mukbangs and healthy meals. She was arguing with the chat after the fact about saying her husband's not controlling. It's a thing that she chose to be there and blah, 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 blah. So she was trying to basically back out, I think, of telling her conservative Muslim husband that she, felt like she was being not treated how she should have been. So where do we go from here? Still in Kuwait. She's not going to have to go for a visa run for a while. So she'll be hanging out for the most part. He celebrated with his family and she wasn't invited. That generally seems to be the gist of it. Like, how many times? It's summer. It's a whole year. Do you think he stopped going camping just because she only went once? You know, like, exactly. He's out there living his life still. If he has his own apartment, because somehow they have 2 bathrooms now, but if he has his own apartment, he's not leaving it to go visit her any more than he has to, I'm sure. She was pissed about the skinny guy who ate her meal, even though she said it was too sick to eat her meal. Yeah, it's territory. It's about territory. It's all that produce makes her feel good about herself when she opens the fridge. If she opens the fridge and there's crap food, she feels bad about herself and then proceeds to eat the crap food until she doesn't feel bad somehow. I don't know. I don't know. But we're still in Kuwait. She won't have to travel. She's going to be playing with health a little bit, but we're going to get mukbangs. I mean, and she's going to call them healthy eating, and someone's going to say chicken pot pie is not healthy eating. It's a satiating, comfortable. You can use all the adjectives you want. Tell yourself whatever you need to, but you're not going to pull the wool over people's eyes who can just tell. Her bathroom is in the kitchen. Excuse me. I just threw up about something else for a second. Hope all is well. Satiating is her word of the month. She loves it. She loves it. This is very filling. No one should be taking advice from a 400-pound woman. I don't care what she thinks about food. She doesn't get it, or she wouldn't be that big. So whatever she thinks she knows about food is wrong. Or she knows it and has zero discipline. Doesn't care if it hurts anyone else, doesn't care if it hurts her. She kind of gets off on the fact that throwing her life away she thinks owns people, which is like drinking poison and thinking all the reactors are going to die. It doesn't work that way. I have to have a whole cup of melted cheese on a plate. That was satiating. That was. We were talking about neutralizing cravings. This was back. Were we back to BB almost with this? No, this was new in the villa. And she was allegedly, the arc she was talking about was that she was dealing with her health and actually seeking professional help, when in fact she was making appointments that she was never going to. But she was talking about that kind of, I don't want to be mean, but come on, you know? The fact that she calls herself Foodie is funny to me. Yeah, her throwing her life away seems to want to, she thinks that hurts people. Ruining your vacation, you know, hurts. I don't know. I guess, I mean, it's her life. She can do what she wants, right? I guess. I don't know that I would make all the same choices, or any of the same choices, honestly. But that's hers to do. But I do think every time she comes back, Salah's like less and less around. We see him less and less every time, because when she's away, I think he plays. And I think she doesn't ask because she doesn't want to know. Or it's not part of the agreement. So he just does whatever he's going to go do. And could you blame him? I mean, how unhappy would he be in the situation? Let's say there was no money involved, no promises of citizenship, just one really confused Syrian man who thought someone would come for a visit. She more than visited. What she got without him. She has nothing, Elizabeth. She has nothing really without Salah at the moment. She doesn't own anything. She has nothing that's hers. She doesn't have a place she can call home, and she's trying to say, Salah's my home. Okay, I get it. But home, my bed, my comfortable place to put things down, the place I can leave, and when I come back, I know all my stuff is still there. That immigration isn't knocking on the door. That I don't have to forge paperwork and find loopholes to live where I want to live. You know, any place that you have to scam to stay shouldn't feel like home. Because if you have to scam to stay there, then you're not actually welcome. So that's take on that. And I think we're going to go into a health arc. I think she might pretend to lose weight. Skinny filters. She uses the skinny filters anyway. Like if she had never used one and then threw one on, she could say, oh, look how much weight I lost, and tried to do the... I think she would love to do a Nikocado avocado, pull the wool over everyone's eyes and, you know, lose a bunch of weight, but just keep putting on fat suits to hide it and then come back and be like, F you people. She doesn't have the discipline to do it in her own life, let alone for content. And I would hate to say she'd probably be more motivated for content than for her own life. She thinks so little of herself, but so much of herself at the same time. It's such a weird dichotomy that she has, which I can't put together. I can't make a lot of sense of. But health arc, Kuwait, the gym, which won't hold her, of course. So it's going to get super dark in this arc. It could. We're going into a time of year where she should be going outside a little bit more, because now we are up into fall, winter, and it's not as blazing as it was when she was there during the summer. So, but like, I don't know. Who moves to the equator and complains that it's hot? Like, you didn't know? Did you Google the weather before you got on the plane? You know, of course it's hot. It's hot for everybody there, but it's not the topic of conversation for everyone there. You know, I'm sure Salah doesn't sit down with his family on his birthday and go, God, it's still pretty hot here, isn't it, guys? It's blazing. I can't believe how hot it is for Kuwait. So we'll leave that there. So thank you all for joining me tonight. We're not wrapping up necessarily at this very second, but it was a long couple weeks, and I'm happy to sit down with a crew of people. Friendly, kind, mods, thank you. We didn't really have too much unsolicited feedback in the chat, whether it was from trolls or Autobots or whatever like that. It's always nice. And for having 300 people in here is pretty nice too, especially considering that there was no notifications that went out, you know. Only 1 year left if you believe the psychic. She gone. And then what happens to Julia after she dies? Salah's just going to put it back outside. Or he'll just leave the apartment in the condition it is and leave it there. Automatically, though, Autobots assemble. No, I don't think he has the capacity to build a treadmill. I don't. I think if it's been built, gets built, going to be built, he's going to have to ask somebody else to come over and help him, because I don't think he can do it. Sorry, don't think so. So it is always a good time here, Christine. It's a chill crowd, whether we're talking personal stuff, whether we're talking foodie stuff, it's always good. So I am gonna wrap it up here, actually, because I didn't realize that we have 3 minutes left. So we'll see. I'll be here. We'll keep checking. And we'll find out what's up with the what's up. There was good feedback a couple weeks ago on doing the recorded video. Like back in the day, we used to do Mark would work for like 10 hours trying to get the editing right on some of those foodie videos. And they were great, but we kind of got away from them and started doing other stuff. So going back to making the video felt odd, of all things. Like that felt weird as opposed to doing it this way. So it was a last minute ditch to do, but the feedback was great. Some people said you like them. And so maybe going forward, we'll shoehorn in here, not shoehorn, here and there for a Foodie Beauty check-in, we'll do a recorded video and maybe not a live. We'll play it back and forth and see. Avoid the drama and creator infighting. You're just lovely people. Thank you. I don't know these people. I like most of them, but I don't know a lot of these people. And it's not like hate, trust, don't trust. This person has no hair. This person has no teeth. This person has no this. Whatever. They'll be laughing at her funeral. Is that nice? Hey, what can I tell you? So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Please do subscribe while you're here and hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so inclined. You can catch up with us on Facebook, Twitter, what's the other one? Instagram. All our contact info is down below. Thank you for joining. If you got the replay, thanks for coming to the replay. And we'll catch up with you very soon. So thanks for joining me. I was a little nervous today. But this went well. You guys made it easy. So thanks for joining, and we'll catch up with you soon. Okay? Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. He's in the garden. Couples time. Bye.